In this episode of Round the World, we're joined by Renato. Based in South Korea, Renato owns and rides this locally made KR110. It's not a Honda, but it looks very similar. Anyway, enough from me behind the screen. Time for Renato to show you his bike.
Hello, my name is Ren, and I'm here in sunny South Korea on a beautiful spring day, almost summer. And I'm here to talk to you about my small motorcycle, the KR Motors Chat 110. KR Motors is known outside Korea also as Hyosung or Hyosung, depends on how you want to pronounce it. I've been riding since 2016. I started riding late in my life, but I have owned mostly big motorcycles, starting with a BMW 850 and mostly big bikes. And then I got here to Korea and I started riding small bikes, and my God, they're so much fun. I'm really enjoying this motorcycle here. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the motorcycle. So the Chat 110, the bike you're looking at, is a Korean clone of a Honda Cub. It looks very, very much like a Honda Cub. It has a lot of same parts as a Honda Little Cub and some older Cub models. You will see that the previous owner put some Super Cub stickers over here. Used to have from the factory a sticker that said Chat 110, and now it has Super Cub. Also has a Super Cub sticker on front right here, and there's a Honda sticker. So it disguises pretty well as a Honda product, but it's not really a Honda. From what I'm understanding, until 2004, Honda had a commercial partnership with Daelim Motorcycles in Korea. In 2004, the technical partnership ended, and Daelim bought some technology from Honda. And to this day, the Daelim City Ace 110 is manufactured in Korea. Sometime in 2008, Hyosung or KR Motors started making the DH110. So now we have two Korean manufacturers, both Daelim and the KR Motors, making club cones in Korea. Sometime in 2017, KR Motors decided to make this motorcycle, the Chat 110, with a 110cc engine that is basically a Honda engine. From what I understand, only 1,800 of these motorcycles, the Chat 110, are made, so it's actually pretty rare. And a lot of Koreans don't even know about this motorcycle. The engine, the center of the Chat 110, it looks a little different than the Honda engine. It's more blocky cut. It's SKR on the side over here, but it does have a kickstart lever. It has typical Honda Cub layout. It has a carburetor on top, exhaust on the bottom. You have adjustable valves over here. You have a spark plug to the side. Some of the parts from a Cub will fit straight into this bike. Like I have a Honda CDI right now on this thing. I have a Honda Little Cub exhaust that had to be bent to fit. I still got the stock air filter on a plastic enclosure. The air filter is cleanable. It's basically a thin layer of foam with a steel mesh. The horn is right there above the engine. On the side you have the starter on top. You have your stator. You got the sprocket. Currently I have a 16-tooth sprocket from a Honda Cub, but it's all basic Honda design. Ignition on. If you look at the instruments, this is straight out of a Honda Cub, although this one says KR Motors. It does have a LED fuel gauge over here that is not very accurate. Sometimes it shows empty when it's full, sometimes it shows full when it's empty, so I don't trust this. I have a odometer, and I have indication for neutral, for high beams, and for turn signals here. I can turn off the headlights. I can have low beams and high beams. Actually, these are just low and high beams here. Turn signals. Got the horn, and I have the choke. I have the controls for the lights. I can have just no tail lights, which I don't understand why people would turn off their tail lights. Then I can have low beams with tail lights and high beams with tail lights. Kind of weird. I don't understand how this thing works. Why is it so complicated? It shouldn't be so complicated. So let's start it up. You see it fires right up. Currently I have a Cubby exhaust that I imported from Japan. As I mentioned, it had to be bent to fit. And I do have a decibel kill over here because it was kind of loud. It sounds pretty good. It does pop a little bit on a decel, which is kind of fun. Oops. Yep. I'm gonna try to do a kickstart. There you go. Started right up with a kickstart. These are the stock tires that came with it when it was brand new. The motorcycle only has 3,000 kilometers right now, so it's a fairly new motorcycle, even though it was made in 2017. It does have spoke wheels with drum brakes in the front and drum brakes in the rear. The tires are 2.5 inch by 17, both front and rear. The brand of these tires is Cordial. It's a Korean cheap brand, I guess. Cheap tires. Auxiliary dampener on the front. It works pretty well. It's like without this, the motorcycle bounces a lot on the front, but with this little $40 US contraption here, which bolts on the inside of the fender on the top, and it bolts to the suspension arm on the front, it actually does a pretty good job of dampening vibrations, so it bounces a lot less. The windshield is from a Honda C110. It does even say Super Cub over there, if you can see it. Yep, there you go. I do have a Timex watch that I have here as a timekeeper. I have my cell phone holder. I have a knee basket, and this comes in handy. I've been camping with the bike, and I had a bunch of stuff over here. I had my small little tool set. I had coffee. I had some snacks, rain gear. I put it over here. I do have a little top box carrier on the back, because I usually ride with a top box. I got my top box right there. But the seat's actually pretty long, which is good for a big guy like me. Underneath the seat, you see a typical Honda Cub tank. You have the fuel hole here with no key. You had the fuel sender for the fuel gauge. I find this to be highly inaccurate, so I don't trust in it. Rear light is LED. The turn signals are not LED, but the light is LED. And it also has a helmet hold over here, which is handy. It does a really good job of pretending to be a Honda when it's really not a Honda. Although it is, in spirit, it is a Honda, because it's pretty much basic Honda technology. There's not much difference. As far as my riding experience with this bike, it has been great here in Korea, because on an urban setting, Korea is so good to have a small bike, because I can park this thing anywhere. I go into any Korean town, I park it. I don't need to find parking, just find a place on the sidewalk and I put it there. That's pretty much how Koreans do it. Last weekend I took it on a camping trip, and I was pretty much overloaded with all my items here, sleeping items. I had bags in the front, bags in the rear. Center was full. Suspension is very rudimentary, because it does have the old style leading link suspension, and it has drum brakes. So I had to be mindful of not going too fast, because the suspension is not great, especially if the road is broken up. If I'm riding on unimproved roads like this, I need to be careful. The motorcycle tends to bounce a lot. So that's it. That's my video for the KR Motors Chat 110, my Korean-made Honda Cub clone. It does a convincingly good job of passing as a Honda. It rides like a vintage Honda. It goes like a vintage Honda, so I got no complaints. This is a 2017 model. Cost, when I bought it, I paid 1.3 million won, which is like $1,000 US. So $1,000 US. It had 2,000 kilometers, 2,100. Now I have 3,261 kilometers. So it's still a fairly new bike.
Wow, what an awesome bike. Thanks Renato for showing us both the bike and a tiny slice of South Korea. If you have a small bike yourself and you want to see it on the channel, it's easy. There are over 40 videos and counting from a bunch of countries in the Round the World series. Anyone can do it as long as they've got a mobile phone with a camera. I love seeing what's out and about in the globe, so get in touch and get involved. Thanks for watching this episode, and see you next time on Small Bike Stuff.